Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm your host, Sana Fatima, and this is MySafeTherapy's webinar on toxic relationships, science, escape, and recovery. I'm your host, Sana Fatima. I'm a BACP accredited counselor and the founder of MySafeTherapy. Before we start, let me give you some introductions about MySafeTherapy. So, we are an upcoming mental health platform which combines wellness tools with traditional therapy. And the idea is to help you to set clear milestones, track your progress, gaining insights about yourself, and when you are ready, our experienced therapists will help you to stay on track. So the platform does not rush you to book sessions. Its aim is to give you a pause, a place where you stay, explore, and self discover. And when you are ready, an experienced guide will be there to support your healing. So, that is enough about My Safe Therapy. Let's start with our webinar as today's topic is very sensitive, and in one way or another, we all experience toxicity in our life. And to guide us through these signs, escape, and recovery of toxic relationships, we have two senior therapists joining us today. They are the guiding light for My Safe Therapy, and today they will guide us through how to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship, preparing for the exit plans, and will provide a roadmap of recovery from these harmful dynamics. So, our first speaker is Samantha Cotterill. Sam is a super specialist in trauma and recovery who will help us to understand how to watch out for the signs and escape from a toxic relationship. Samantha is highly experienced counselor who specializes in working with survivors of trauma, including childhood sexual abuse, rape, and domestic violence. With a decade of experience, Samantha is skilled in supporting clients with a very wide range of mental health challenges. Her approach is deeply empathetic and her perspective is always tailored to what her client needs. And to guide us through the healing and rebuilding process, we have Robert. Robert's background as a CEO makes him more closer to understand the power dynamics of any relationship. Robert is a qualified counselor who is a super specialist in relationships, power dynamics, depression, anxiety, and addiction, and has provided counseling globally over more than 15 years. His approach is a blend of cognitive behavior therapy and person centered methods, and he is always focused that his clients progress, recover, and build a happier life with empathy and respect. So, to get started, let's introduce our first speaker and dive right into the signs of toxic relationships. Please join me in welcoming Samantha Cotterill. Samantha, the floor is all yours.
So how do we escape from this place that we thought was beautiful and the disappointment of that coming to an end? It takes a lot of courage to untangle yourself. And I like that picture because that's like string, and it's like we get entangled into this relationship and it's hard to get out. And like I said, the most difficult time is for a person that's leaving a toxic relationship is when she's about to leave or he's about to leave, because the person realizes that they're losing control. So the advice is given that we should really already be looking at providing a support network. And I think for MySafeTherapy, we can, how we're going to evolve this is that we can provide that for people and give advice and support. So tell people that you trust. You might not have anybody that you can trust, but there are organizations out there that you can ask for support. So tell your friends that you need to get out. It could be that for a long time your friends have been telling you you need to get out, and then finally the person gets the revelation. Tell the family. Might not always be possible to tell the family because they could be the ones that are toxic. Yeah. But try and plan your exit.
Yeah.
Create a safety plan. If you feel unsafe, consider meeting in a public place for the breakup. I would suggest never be on your own. Always go to a neutral place where there's people. meeting on their terms and meeting at their house, or let's go for a picnic out in the woods, I would say definitely not. Do everything in a place where there's other people should you feel unsafe. And that's where you can broach the conversation. Take a friend with you.
That is an amazing advice.
Yeah.
Never be alone.
Don't go by yourself. Yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah. Rob, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I think safety is key, because, I mean, you must protect yourself, because the situation can get out of control very quickly. So your escape route is priority. It needs to be well planned in advance, and as you say quite rightly, preferably in a place where there's other people that can support you, or that you can feel safe with.
Yeah. Certainly, I know that there's a place in the northeast called Harbour, which is where they can help you with a safety plan to leave. It's good advice to get a bag packed and leave it at a friend's house, so that you've got your basic toothbrush, like hairspray, whatever it is you need, makeup, which is important, and that you have that stuff ready if you have to leave quickly. And just, of course, and if you feel really in danger, you call the police.
Yeah.
You call the police.
No. We often try not to make noises around these things. We are like, oh, there is enough drama in our lives, we don't want to attract more.
Yeah.
But here I completely agree with you. We should be talking, we should be putting ourselves out, otherwise we will be stuck in that relationship. So yeah, good advice to go to police, good advice to go to services, so that your protection should be prioritized over anything else. Yeah.
I just want to add there that in a relationship where there's two toxic people, we have to take ownership of our own reactions and emotions. So if somebody's saying to me that I'm being a little bit grumpy or aggressive, I have to take that on board and not be defensive about that, but just be really honest and open and say, I didn't realize I was, but yeah, actually looking at it, that's how I came across. And apologize. But communication is key between couples. But as in a relationship that's toxic, quite often the communication's not possible because you can't win.
Yeah, because the person is not willing to take the accountability of what they are doing, and it's all about the other person. It's never about them.
Yeah,
they will never take the blame that they did something wrong.
Yeah. So it's just reinforcing there, making a detailed plan. Get that bag to someone. You might not have the means to start life again. There is help out there. You might not know how to do that, but it just takes one step. Gradually disengaging from that person. So emotionally, I've been in a toxic relationship, and what happened to me is that I just needed to feel safe. But in my heart, I disengaged and I moved back, and I knew that I needed to be away from this person. So spending time just to protect yourself as you try and distance yourself.
Safety first.
Safety always, 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 always first. And I know it was very dangerous for me to leave. But I managed to flee.
Yeah. At the end of this webinar, we will be creating, we have created a package, put together a package, and in that package, there is a checklist where that gives you what you need to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you are in that situation and if you want to escape. So yes, if we will be sharing this with everyone so that they know, if you never know if someone needs that. So we've put together that list.
A friend of a friend might be in a toxic relationship, and we can signpost, can't we? It's in the importance of communicating those things clearly to the person that you're leaving. I guess trying to do that in a real sensitive way, because the last thing you want to do is fuel the fire of that person that you're going to be exiting the relationship. So it's not always easy. Can't underscore this enough. Boundaries. So once you have left that person, I would always, 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 even if there's children involved, absolutely block all contact. 100%. what you can do is get somebody that can mediate for you. That could be a mum, it could be a friend, somebody else. But it's going to be harder if you have contact with that person, because they're going to still find means and ways of contacting you, and that tips into stalking. So they need to get the message. I've left you. I don't want to be with you, and that is the end, full stop. So, and if they should start to harass you, then you really need to take records of that, write down everything, write down all of the things. In fact, as soon as you start thinking that you're going to leave, I would start writing notes so that you've got some evidence there if things tip overboard.
And many times, like if you are not cutting off the contact, I believe you get into the cycle of being in the toxic relationship. Like they will come to you, they will say sorry, and they will apologize. And then you are like, oh, okay, let me give the person another chance.
Yeah.
And then it, like for a while, things look fine. But after that, everything comes back. And
yes,
you find yourself.
And important to mention that you cannot fix people.
Yes.
They're responsible for changing their own behavior. So it's very unlikely, if you keep going back, that they are going to change, even though they say they are, because they've got to take ownership.
Yeah.
And that's it, bottom line. So thank you for listening to my section. I am going to introduce you to the wonderful Rob. And he's going to kind of guide you through the recovery and the healing side of things.
Good. Well done, Sam. Well presented.
Thanks.
Okay. So regarding the introduction to recovery, leaving a toxic relationship is undeniably a courageous and critical first step. It signifies a profound act of self-preservation and strength. However, it's crucial to understand that this departure isn't the end of the journey. It's merely the transition point.
Yeah.
True healing, genuine rebuilding of your sense of self and well-being begins in the recovery phase that follows. So in the immediate aftermath of escaping a toxic relationship often brings forth a complex and sometimes overwhelming mix of emotions. Because it's a landscape of internal contradiction where you might feel confused. Was it all my fault? Grief. This can feel as profound as any significant other loss. Guilt. Your guilt for feeling relief when maybe you should be feeling sad. Relief, a quiet yet powerful sense of calm and freedom that starts to wash over you, that weight off your shoulders. Anger, directed at your former partner for their actions. Fear about the future, about trusting again, or even about falling back into old patterns. So recovery is the active process of navigating these emotions, understanding their roots, and learning to process them in healthy ways. It entails reclaiming your identity, rebuilding your self-esteem, establishing healthy boundaries, and fostering supportive connections. So this journey is deeply personal.
Yeah.
It unfolds over time, marking the true path for merely escaping to genuine thriving. So, Sana, do you agree it's a deeply personal journey?
Absolutely, Rob. And like you said, anger, yes, like there is one degree of anger that you feel towards the person. However, there is a core deep anger that you feel towards yourself. How did I allow this to happen? And how did I not see it coming? And that is often laced as guilt, anger, fear, everything.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole spectrum of emotions that you feel when you are going through this phase.
Yes.
And that is very important.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Emotional recovery and self-care, reclaiming your well-being. So as you navigate the aftermath of a toxic relationship, understanding and validating your emotions is top importance, is paramount. Remember, it's okay to feel broken. And healing is not linear. It's not a straight line path to healing. It's a long, jagged, up and down progress in small steps usually. This phase is about actively nurturing your emotional landscape and rebuilding your foundation through intentional self-care. Recovery starts with reclaiming your sense of self.
Yes.
Here's how to begin. Firstly, try things like journaling and reflecting, ways to process your experience. Journaling offers a really nice private space to unravel all these complex emotions and thoughts, helping you gain clarity and processing the past. It's a powerful tool for self-discovery and emotional release. Free writing. Write continuously without concern for grammar or structure. Allow your thoughts just to flow freely by writing them down. Prompt-based journaling also helps sometimes. Use specific questions. What emotions am I feeling right now and why? What did I learn about myself from this relationship? Thought records too. Document triggering situations, automatic thoughts, and resulting emotions to identify cognitive patterns that you have. So an actionable step for this is maybe commit yourself to journaling for 10 to 15 minutes per day. Secondly, mindfulness and meditation. This helps to cultivate inner peace. So things like breath awareness. Focus on your breath as an anchor to the present. Notice maybe the sensations of your breathing, of each inhale and exhale. It's an excellent reset to ground yourself. Body scan meditation. Systematically bring awareness to different parts of your body. Observe sensations as you feel your body without judgment. Relax and feel, be in tune with your body. Guided meditations is another way. Mindful walking. Pay attention to the physical sensations of walking.
Yeah.
The environment around you and enjoy it. And look at around the flowers and the trees and the grass and be aware of your surroundings and even the rhythm of your steps. Be conscious of yourself. So an actionable step here to follow is maybe start with 5 or 10 minutes of mindfulness and meditation daily. Thirdly, your physical health, nurturing your body, healing your mind. Your physical well-being is deeply interconnected with your emotional health. So things like sleep, aim for your 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Nutrition, fuel your body with balanced meals. Movement, engage in physical exercise and activity that you enjoy, whether it's walking or yoga or dancing or more vigorous exercise, it's good for you. So an actionable step here could also be choose one physical habit that you can focus on this week, like going out for a 30 minutes walk every day. And then fourthly, reconnecting with personal identity values. In other words, rediscovering yourself, you. Toxic relationships often erode your sense of self. So reclaiming your identity is important. And then reflect on past passions. Think about previous hobbies, interests, or activities you enjoyed before the relationship. And identify core values again. What principles are important to you? Integrity, kindness, creativity, growth. Try and remind yourself about your core values.
Can I just add something there, Rob? Is when we are in relationships that are toxic, it erodes our self-esteem, erodes our confidence. We feel like we come out of this an empty shell and we don't even know who we are. But the one thing other people can't take from us is our value. They cannot take our value, and your value is massive. So, you know, and I think that's an amazing building point, is to understand that they cannot take your value. That's something that no one can steal. So, and you can build on that.
Absolutely.
And another thing I would love to add in recovery, we often, because we want to recover very quickly, we often set many milestones in the process of recovery. And that milestones, they if we try to chase those, we end up, you know, not following one, and we end up having the burnout.
Yeah.
So we need to be mindful that we are choosing very small goals and we are achieving them step by step, because recovery is something that happens in a very, you know, with very small steps.
Yeah.
It is not a big jump. We need to realize that.
Absolutely. Good. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, therapy and support systems, the pillars of healing. So navigating the aftermath of a toxic relationship often requires professional guidance and a robust network of support. Specific therapeutic approaches can aid healing and help you explore how to effectively build and leverage vital support systems. So the first one is the transformative role of therapy. Therapy provides a crucial, safe place to process experiences, offering trauma-informed approaches designed to address the deep wounds left by toxic dynamics. It's about building resilience and developing effective coping strategies. These include therapies like cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, as well as the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, and somatic therapy is another one. So all these therapies help individuals become more aware of physical sensations associated with stress and trauma. Example, tension and shallow breathing and so on. So by gently guiding attention to these sensations, the body can naturally discharge stored trauma, leading to a greater sense of calm and regulation.
Mhm.
Secondly, building and leaning on support networks, very important. Friends and family, peer support groups, and finding ways to look at things like online communities and platforms. Today is really the way to go. So, Sana, what platforms or forums are useful support for healing, do you think?
I believe, Robert, I can talk, like there are many. I prefer Mind over any other, place, because they have a good sources, they have enriched sources, they have a good community, and they work towards, these things every day. Apart from that, at MySafeTherapy, we are also trying to build up those communities. We are also trying to put people together and towards the process of healing. So I can suggest these two. But yes, with our the packet, we have added so many resources. We have added so many things in there for people to have help around those things.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Okay, then on the next slide, regarding rebuilding self-esteem and boundaries, the journey to healing after a toxic relationship critically involves reclaiming your sense of self and establishing firm protective barriers. Firstly, how toxic relationships systematically erodes your self-worth. Toxic relationships are insidious because they gradually dismantle your self-perception, leaving you questioning your reality and your value. This constant criticism and belittling, gaslighting, isolation, control and dependency, this conditional love and approval. Secondly, rebuilding confidence, practical strategies. Firstly, affirmation exercises to counter negative narratives. Sometimes affirmations, which are positive statements that you repeat regularly, can change negative self-talk and reinforce a healthier self-image. Morning rituals like starting your day with affirmations like, I am worthy of love and respect.
Yeah.
my feelings are valid.
Yeah.
I am strong and I am resilient.
Mm.
Sometimes these I am statements are really useful and powerful things to use. For example, if you were told you are stupid, affirm to yourself, I am intelligent and I'm very capable.
Right.
So journaling is another aid for that, to write down those affirmations each day. And then also setting small, achievable goals, like maybe cook a new recipe this week or start reading a new book, and then celebrate your progress, no matter how small the size. Also, very important is to establish healthy boundaries, because these are your blueprint for peace. And being able to say things like no without any feeling of guilt.
Yes.
Okay. The simple refusal of no, I can't do that right now. Or setting conditions, maybe. I can help you with X, but I can't help you with Y. Delaying as well. Sometimes something like, I need to check my schedule first and think about it before I can get back to you. So be polite but firm. I appreciate you asking, but that doesn't work for me. So practicing no.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. That is a big hurdle. Like people often, they are not comfortable saying no.
Yes. Okay, so recognizing red flags early is also important. Understanding the warning signs. Sometimes this intense clinginess, love bombing, and rapid declaration of love and overwhelming attention, red flags. Controlling behavior, demanding to know where your whereabouts are, checking your phone, dictating to see what and when and what you can wear. Constant criticism or belittling disguised as jokes, and persistent negative comments that chip away at your self-esteem, often followed on by, oh, I was just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Gaslighting, denying your reality, making you doubt your perceptions or your memory. That never happened. You're imagining things.
Right.
Blame shifting, refusing to take responsibility for the actions and always making you the villain. Isolation tactics as well, discouraging relationships with friends and family, making you feel guilty for spending time with others. So prioritization of your emotional safety is another important element as well, to limit yourself to exposure of other toxic individuals, and to maybe cut back or curate your social media, unfollow accounts that trigger negative emotions, and engage in self-soothing activities such as meditation and reading, and seek safe places. Identify people and places where you feel genuinely accepted and heard and respected. And boundaries are not walls, they're gates that protect your peace. So, Sam, I was wondering, what place of peace or activity is it that you maybe use sometimes?
So I think, I try to walk in peace, and I'm very visual in the way I work. So I like to visualize like a Roman soldier, and I'm putting on the helmet to protect my thoughts, the breastplate to protect my emotions. I have my shield, which is, extinguishes lies that come from people. I literally imagine holding up a shield. But most importantly, I feel, is the shoes I wear, is that I walk in peace wherever I go. And trouble is always going to come, and I am going to be hurt by people. So my own coping strategy is to ask myself, am I in control of this?
Yes.
If I'm not in control of something, I let go. But if it's something I can change, then I will do that. So I think walking in peace is one of the best, and keeping that, protecting that peace. So if somebody starts coming into my life that's a bit toxic, I have zero tolerance for that now.
Yes, that's true.
Because I no longer people please like I used to.
Okay, that's great. All right, so that wraps that section up then. So, Sana, would you like to talk about the recovery support and MySafeTherapy?
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much, Samantha, for giving all the insights around toxic relationships and very, very, very practical advice that we often forget. And we all know about these things, like we need to do meditation, we need to do mindfulness, we need to prepare the bags.
Easily said than done.
But when we are in those situations, we are so zoomed in that we often forget to, we are not able to see anything because our mind, our head is in that pot. And that pot is very, very, very critical. So for my safe therapy, what we do is we do the personalized matching with our therapist. So with your problems, we find the therapist who is very much aligned and experienced with the problems that you are facing. And we have a very diverse therapeutic modalities where we work on. So we have a specialist in cognitive behavior therapy, we have a specialist in dialectical behavior therapy, and desensitization, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing, EMDR. And those therapists help you to pass trauma, help you to see past PTSD, all that stuff. And in our roadmap, there are VR therapy will be integrated in the roadmap so that you can have those therapy sessions in your home. When you can put on your VR glasses and you will be having those sessions in your virtual reality.
Amazing.
So we will be reaching there, but
Mhm.
yes, we are still building. And our therapists are available. The platform is secure. The platform is safe to use, and data protection is one thing we are very, very, very serious about. And so I will tell users to explore our website. They can take the self-assessment and they can browse all the self-help tools. I will strongly recommend that they should be browsing tools under the Calm Cove, because we have put together all the worksheets which are related with toxic relationships, and which gives the users the first glimpse of how they can use journaling as a good tool to get away from, or to have that recovery tools as their measures. And so users can go there. We are giving them 15 days of free usage of the Calm Cove. They can go, they can explore the platform, and I hope they will like it. So if everyone is ready and they explore, and then they want to dig deep into their healing options, then yes, there is individual therapy, then there is support groups, then there are psychoeducation resources that we are going to put together for them. So yes, we are trying to create a whole bubble where people are feeling supported, and the things that are put together are based on their needs. So we are still building, but yes, these are the plans that we have in our mind. So like Rob mentioned, that we need to, the mindfulness practices should be there, the journaling should be there, and support system should be there, and all those things are already there on the platform. And with that note, I believe we can move forward to our Q&A session. And I will say, audiences, if they have any questions, they can definitely put those questions in the boxes, and we will be answering those questions. We will try to cover those questions, but due to time constraint, we will try to answer few of those, and rest of it will be emailed to them after this session, along with the packet and along with all that stuff. So we'll wait for a few minutes for the questions to come in, and then we will be starting to answer those questions. Another thing I wanted to check with Sam is, you see all those people, and what do you think? What is the main reason why people have that relapse into those toxic relationships? Because they've been there, done that, they come out, and then they again fall back into that trap.
Yeah, it is almost like an addiction, and it becomes an addiction to return to that person. It's almost like better the devil you know, in a way, is that the leaving this relationship is so hard, because you become so reliant on that person and dependent on them, that sometimes the comfort is in going back to that, because that's what you know. But in building self-esteem and self-worth and confidence and knowing your value, those things need to be like put in place pretty quickly to stop going back to that. In fact, I think, I'm not sure of the statistics this day and age, but I think it's roughly about 7 times that a woman will return to a toxic relationship, and it can take up to 30 attempts for her to leave when there's real abuse going on in that relationship, because sometimes staying is a safer option than leaving. Because don't forget, sometimes with this, you've got the threats that if you leave me, I'll take the kids. You'll never see the kids again. If you leave me, no one else will ever want you. Financially, you're never going to, I'll take everything. And in fact, there's 5 forms of abuse, Sana, which is mental, physical, sexual, financial, and emotional. And someone can be in all of those. So you're leaving something where what am I going to do when I leave? I don't even know who I am anymore. So it does sometimes people return over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, Robert, what are your thoughts around that?
Okay, well, I've just had a look at some of the questions and answers that have come in, so maybe we can move on with the first one that's come in there. If Sam, you want to try and answer this one. The question is, if I walk out, how do I survive on my own if my partner is the provider?
Yeah, and that's probably been reinforced throughout the relationship, is that I own the purse strings. I am the one that's in control of all of this. I have to say that there is help. You've got Citizens Advice, you have got Women Aid, and for men as well, men are in toxic relationships. There is help out there. And if you, for example, come into MySafeTherapy for some counselling yourself, then we can, of course, signpost to services in the area. There's a lot of stuff out there, but financially, there's certain organizations that can help you find housing. They can help you with applying for benefits, anything you need in that emergency situation.
Okay, good. All right, then I'll answer the next one I see here. Is the question is, what do I do if there are kids involved? How do I leave? So if there are children at risk, well, these should be removed as soon as possible. This can be scary if the perpetrator has a control over you by using the children as weapons. There may already be emotional manipulation as well, that if you leave, they will take the children from you. So try to get a plan in place with your family as a backup, with friends or a safe house. And there are, as Sam mentioned, there are social services that can also help with those types of emergency accommodations as support as well.
Yeah.
And then there's one more question here, Sam, maybe for you again. How long does it take to recover?
That is a very important question. How long does it take?
Yeah. I think that human beings have their own fingerprints. Even twins have their own unique fingerprints. And how we recover from these toxic relationships is really down to a unique experience. Sometimes there's commonalities. I might talk to somebody about my own experience, and someone else will say, oh yeah, that's like, that's how I experience it. And then you can empathize for each other in that situation. But recovery is unique to each person, and it can take different lengths of time. I mean, I wouldn't be great at journaling. I wouldn't be great at, going for walks necessarily, because, we get in our heads. So I just think the most important thing about recovery ever is to talk about it. is to talk about it with someone that's not going to judge you, someone that isn't going to criticize you, someone that is going to listen and not fix, because we don't always want people to fix us. We want people to just listen to what we have to say. So recovery is very unique to each of us, and we shouldn't put pressure on ourselves like it's been 6 months and I should be over this. It doesn't work like that. And trauma has a way of coughing up different aspects later down the line that we perhaps weren't aware that we were traumatized. So there might be different facets of that trauma come up, different milestones like anniversaries and things like that. You know, is that one thing I do know is that keep walking, keep going.
I always believe that, recovery is more or less self-discovery. Like when you go inside your head and when you rethink what you did, how things happened, how, you get to know about yourself, you get to know about what went wrong, how it went wrong, and what are the things that are involved when the things were going wrong, and you couldn't stop because your values stopped you to, to say no.
It's hard, Sana, because when we exit abusive relationships, we're often filled with self-loathing and self-blame and self-doubt. They are survival instincts to keep us, to keep us going, but they're maladaptive ones. And so learning, first of all, my value, and I'm worth loving that value. I'm worth loving this person that's got myself through this, to be fair.
Yes. With my experience in relationship counseling as well, is it's amazing how you lose your sense of self. You become somebody who you've not been before. It's because of this toxic relationship effect that helps you erode your self-worth.
Yes.
Once you've lost your self-worth, well, then you've really got a battle to get up back to where you feel, proud of your self-confidence and your self-esteem, and to have a good self-image about yourself, which are the three elements necessary for normal mental wellness.
Absolutely, completely agree, Rob. Completely agree. And with that note, I believe our time is up and we can wrap up this session. And thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you so much, Rob, from the depth of my heart. And we're going to have more sessions coming up. And I would urge people to go and see MySafeTherapy, what we put together, and how we are trying to change the mental health.
That's nice.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining here. And we'll come up with another webinar.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.
Okay. I'm going to go then, Rob. I think.
Okay. Bye now.
See you later. Bye, everyone.